Top 10 Things to Do in St. Petersburg, Russia. Renowned for its elegance and grandeur, St. Petersburg is awash with stunning architecture, as majestic palaces and cathedrals jostle for space alongside its many canals and waterways. Located at the mouth of the Neva River on the banks of the Gulf of Finland, it is the second largest city in Russia after Moscow. 10. Mariinsky Theater. One of the most prestigious cultural institutions in the country, the Mariinsky Theater, has been dazzling opera and ballet goers since it was founded in 1859. A fitting setting for all the world-class dancers, singers, and musicians that have performed on its stage over the decades, the lavishly decorated concert hall really is a delight to gaze upon. Named after the wife of Tsar Alexander II, the Mariinsky Theater is one of the best places in St. Petersburg to watch a show, along with the Mikhailovsky Theater. 9. Yusupov Palace. Also known as Moika Palace, due to its location on the banks of the river of the same name, Yusupov is one of the best places to visit if you want to see how aristocrats lived in Imperial Russia. While its exterior is quite plain, besides its pastel yellow color, the interior is simply staggering to explore. Its many halls are decorated with only the finest furniture, artworks, frescoes, and tapestries that money can buy. Built in the 1770s and named after the wealthy Russian noble family that owned it, the colossal palace remarkably even boasts its own private theater. In addition to all its many riches, Yusupov Palace is famously where Grigory Rasputin, the Russian mystic who was believed to have influence over Tsar Nicholas II, was murdered in 1916. 8. General Staff Building. Gently curving its way around the south of Palace Square, the General Staff Building is one of the most famous architectural monuments in the city and faces both the State Hermitage Museum and the Winter Palace. Designed by Carlo Rossi, the elegant neoclassical building was built between 1819 and 1829, and its two wings are separated by a majestic triumphal arch. Once the headquarters of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces, the eastern wing of the beautiful building is now part of the State Hermitage Museum and houses a stunning array of awe-inspiring art pieces. 7. Peter and Paul Fortress. Set in the exact spot where St. Petersburg was first founded, the Peter and Paul Fortress was built all the way back in 1703. Occupying a prominent position on the banks of the Neva River, the fortress has lots of fabulous buildings for you to explore, such as the Trubetskoy Bastion and the magnificent Peter and Paul Cathedral. Besides its fascinating historical sites and interesting exhibitions that relate to the Russian Revolution and Imperial Russia, the fortress also hosts a number of festivals, events, and concerts during the year. 6. St. Isaacs Cathedral. One of the largest cathedrals in the world of any denomination, St. Isaac's gargantuan size is certainly staggering to behold. Its enormous gold-plated dome is visible from almost anywhere in St. Petersburg. As it took 40 years to build, grander and more elaborate designs kept getting added to the original plans. Over 100 massive columns were erected alongside several other smaller domes. Inside is even more impressive as beautiful reliefs, mosaics, and iconostasis cover every imaginable surface. 5. Kronstadt Naval Cathedral. Built between 1903 and 1913, the Kronstadt Naval Cathedral is quite unique and unusual in terms of its design. It combines Neo-Byzantine and Romanesque architecture with various Russian features. Located on the small island of Kotlin that lies in the Gulf of Finland, the glimmering white cathedral was financed by the Russian Navy and is dedicated to fallen seamen everywhere. While its beautiful cupola and facade are delightful to gaze upon, its cavernous interior is no less impressive, as grand chandeliers and mosaics look down upon its marble floors and columns. 4. Catherine Palace and Park. Located some 30 kilometers to the south of the city, the breathtaking Catherine Palace is where the Russian czars came to relax and unwind during the summer months. The grand and flamboyant style of the palace dates to 1752, when the architect Bartolomeo Rastrelli redesigned and redecorated the original building, plastering elaborate stuccos all over it. It is painted a bright bluish green, with the white columns and gold statues and embellishments standing out delightfully. The Rococo Palace really does make for a spectacular sight. Named after Catherine I who commissioned it, the palace is set in some fantastically laid out and landscaped gardens. These are perfect for taking a relaxing stroll in after all the overwhelming splendor you've just taken in. 3. Peterhof Grand Palace. Commissioned by Peter the Great to outshine the Palace of Versailles with its opulence and grandeur, the Peterhof Grand Palace certainly makes a good go of it. Covering a considerable area, its series of palaces and gardens are simply spellbinding to wander around, with beauty, art, and nature on show wherever you look. Each architect added their own features, with the throne room and Chesme Hall being two of the most finely decorated of the lot. Located all around the palaces are a dazzling array of landscape gardens complete with fountains, cascades, flowerbeds, and statues. 2. Church of the Savior on Blood. Appearing as if out of a fairy tale, St. Petersburg's Church of the Savior on Blood looks very much like the world-famous St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. This similar design sees 5 richly decorated onion domes tower above the main body of the church below. Built between 1883 and 1907 at a colossal price, the gorgeous church was erected in the memory of Tsar Alexander II, who was fatally wounded by anarchists at the same site. 1. State Hermitage Museum. The second largest art museum in the world after the Louvre in Paris, the State Hermitage Museum's vast collection is remarkably spread across 5 buildings and 360 rooms in the center of St. Petersburg. Founded by Catherine the Great, an avid art collector, the huge number of paintings, sculptures, and antiquities were added to by various czars, and it was Nicholas I who opened them to the public in 1852. Today, the State Hermitage Museum has around 3 million artworks in its collection. Whether it is prehistoric art, the Italian Renaissance, the Dutch Golden Age, or 19th century Russian art that you are interested in, the State Hermitage Museum is simply a must when in St. Petersburg.